This episode of the Helping Healing Humor podcast is brought to you by Faulkner University. Choosing where to go to college is a big decision, and Faulkner University is the right choice for many reasons. First and foremost, they're committed to biblical teaching. Each of their 85 outstanding academic programs infuse Christian principles into the curriculum and prepare students for professional success in their career and meaningful service in their community. Their main campus in Montgomery, Alabama offers an abundance of opportunities for internships, networking, and entertainment. Over 96% of their students receive financial aid, making Faulkner education a great value. Faulkner is a Christian university dedicated to helping you grow strong in your faith, and their family-like atmosphere will make you feel right at home. Check out faulkner.edu today.
Welcome into the Helping Healing Humor podcast with Ben and Travis. We are glad that you are once again joining us for another episode as we continue our talk about surviving the holidays. And we have with us for this episode, as we did the last one, our good friend Blake Hollimon. Blake Hollimon, we are excited to have you with us.
Glad to be here, man.
Always good to have you as the voice of the Sons of Blunder episodes that we have done, and a lot of our other pick'ems and different things that we do. And of course, Travis, what is he?
He is our resident Barner. He is the man with the plan. The C grade draft. Maybe we're still undefeated at this point. Probably undefeated. The first round of the playoffs have started. Hopefully, we're still plugging along. Lamar Jackson has maybe come out of his slump.
They weren't ready for us.
They weren't ready, and
you got to give a little background of that so people understand.
This is the guy. Like, we are a conglomerate for our fantasy football. I couldn't think of it, and Blake has been kind of the engine. I've been kind of the thumbs. That's about it.
And I have been the one who's given all the right advice. Like I'm the one who...
His general advice is play all the Alabama guys, which has worked from time to time.
Blake. It's worked.
It has worked. Undefeated. Hopefully still undefeated. Hopefully our bowl pick'em is rolling pretty good by this point. We hope that you've joined along with us. We like doing a lot of fun things with Ben and Travis. That's how this thing started, was fun things. But we do get into kind of the heavier things, and as Ben mentioned, handling a little bit about the holidays. And we're close to Christmas. My kids, I remember being in elementary school, things moved slow as Christmas. That was accurate. Now it's not so slow. Now it's like, here we are. So
it's crazy how it speeds up when you get older, how life, not just the holidays, but everything goes faster. You think of people as being older and slower, if you remember Jim Carrey's comment in Dumb and Dumber. We won't go there. Anyway, it slows down. You'd think it would slow down, but it actually gets faster. Maybe it's because you're getting slow, the world's getting faster. I don't know. But for whatever reason, it's crazy how fast things go. And so we're very quickly approaching Christmas time. So how do you survive the holidays? And we talked about a couple of things in the last episode, and I wanted to sort of bring up something in this episode to talk about, and that is, what do you do when you have somebody in your family, or you have a bunch of somebodies in your family, or it's just your entire family that drives you bonkers? What do you do with situations where maybe there's some toxic stuff there?
When we were off there, y'all mentioned Christmas Vacation, right?
So we really did. So
maybe you're in that vein. Maybe that's your life.
Kind of is where you're at. So, for a lot of people, hey, I want to go hang out with my family. I want to be with my family, but also recognize that there are some people in my family that are not that easy to be around.
You're talking about me.
Well, okay,
if the shoe fits, right?
Awkward.
So, what do you guys? I mean, have you guys had that experience, or have you had some situations where you've kind of learned from that? What would you take away from it? What are some things that maybe you could help other people with?
I have learned to, and this is not outside of extreme cases. Obviously, you can figure out whether people have your best interest in mind. But in my experience, most people, they do. Right? Even the things when they say things and they stick their foot in their mouth. And so I try to go in with, I'm going to give everyone in the room the benefit of the doubt that they generally want my best at heart. We may disagree on what that is, but I'm going to go in with the grace and mercy of, this person. In some cases, we share the last name, we share DNA, some level, we are in this together, and they want what's best for me, even though they may not have any clue whatsoever. And part of that may be my fault. Maybe they're not in the loop. And so, even that helps with when people say things that are awkward and they don't know it's awkward. Once again, Christmas vacation.
Yeah.
But you go in going, okay, I know this person. I know they're coming from where they're coming from. And generally it's with a good heart. And maybe that can help you kind of put up with some of the shenanigans.
My experience is I don't have much experience with that type of family member or that person that I'm around during the holiday time. But one thing that I can think of is if you are presented with a situation, everyone deserves respect. We've talked about that here in our Highland Park Wednesday night class. Michael Jackson is teaching a generations course of how we can relate to different generations, whether it be older people or younger people, and how we can work together, even though our backgrounds are different, our ages are different, and we have completely different life experiences. So, Ben, you and I have talked about the verse in Romans where it talks about giving respect.
Yeah, Romans chapter 12, 17 and 18 talks about, 17, never pay back evil for evil, respect what is right in the sight of all men. And that's kind of one of those difficult things to learn. And there's different people, I probably have some different perspectives on it, but when I read that, I've always thought, I don't have to agree with what Blake says. Like, obviously we've talked about, we're Alabama fans, but we still love Blake, okay? We disagree.
Oh, thanks, man.
We do. We even invite you on the podcast. But, we have a difference of teams that we cheer for. Or sometimes even, you have family members that have difference of religious beliefs, or you have differences in political views. And I'm sure that comes up in some holiday parties at this point. So, we all have those differences. I don't have to agree with you to respect your point of view. So I can respect that Blake loves Auburn and cheers for Auburn. I can respect that Blake is, whatever he is politically. I can respect what Blake is religiously. Even if it doesn't line up with me, I don't have to agree with him, but I can respect his perspective. And then he goes on, actually, in the next verse, and he says, as far as it depends upon you, live at peace with all people. So he puts the perspective or the importance on us. Like, we are the ones who are supposed to make that decision. I can't go, well, Blake keeps fighting with me. No, as far as it depends upon me, then I step away from the fight. I walk away from the situation if I have to.
I think along with that, dwelling on the differences. I teach Bible to teenagers, and there are many backgrounds religiously in the class. I've had people who didn't believe in God at all. I've had agnostics. I've had about every background of Christianity you can have. And so, we start with, do you believe in Jesus? All right, that's a win. W, check. And, it's so easy. And I think there are people out there who gain momentum and they gain money and they gain influence by keeping us divided. And so they want you to dwell on all the things that we don't agree with. And, if we went to your church on Sunday, if we came here to Highland Park on Sunday and we passed the mic around and we just went until somebody mentioned something that we didn't agree with, it wouldn't take that long. And so I think you see that in Romans 12 there. Let's not dwell on, and even Paul and other places, think on the good things. Think on the things that are righteous. And when there's a win, there's a win. And I think in our society, we've even, we won't get into all of it, but I think in the judicial system, we've had some wins over the last few weeks. And I think one of the nefarious things is you've seen people who go out of their way to negate that, where anybody who looks at the facts and the common sense would go, hey, that's a win. Like, that's a win for justice. And it's been really cool to see people who have been at odds for couple of years finally come together and go, hey, justice was served there. Those are situations we wish weren't happened, but it seems as though the system worked in those occasions. So be able to acknowledge the things that we do agree on and don't dwell on the things that we disagree on.
Yeah, I saw something the other day. It was Thanksgiving. Somebody had tweeted about Thanksgiving, and they said, I've only been in the house for 20 minutes, and there's already a roundtable discussion about politics, and I'm thinking about leaving. So, if you're somebody who's at the party, and I don't know who all, which person might be listening to this podcast. You might be the person who's just walked into it, sees the argument, doesn't want to be a part of it. Maybe there's a way to, disengage people from that and get them onto something else. Hey, let's talk about some things that we do appreciate. Let's talk about some things that we do agree on. Let's just talk about life in general and not about politics or whatever else. You may be the person throwing the party. You may have been the person sitting at the table who started it. Don't start it. Don't start the stuff that's going to cause the holiday season to crash and burn. Make sure that we focus on the things that, there's a time and place for those discussions, and probably the family events where you just see each other once a year are not the time for it. I know you think, hey, I got to get it in now while we got everybody there. It's like Facebook. I got to put it on here. Is it really going to make any difference? Is it really going to convince somebody that, hey, I want to listen to your opinion because you're the person who brings it up and ruins the party? At that point, I don't think you're the guy anybody's listening to.
Maybe just go in assuming that no one there wants to hear it. And then if somebody does bring it up, then, hey, maybe you can join the discussion. But don't go in going, hey, I'm going to blow this place. We're going to blow it out the gate. I agree. I'm one of the people, I love talking about that stuff. But also, as I tell my kids who are 5 and 6 and have no ability to read the room, hey, read the room. There's certain things it's probably best left unsaid. I think as it depends on you.
We
be at peace.
We often pray for opportunities. Well, maybe we can take this as an opportunity to disengage a situation.
Yeah.
I think says a lot about being with peace that we've talked about. So if you can disengage or see an opportunity to, like Ben was talking about, to do something or to say something to get you on something else, I think that's a win.
Well, Travis and I spent a lot of years going, hey, you want to go play football?
Yeah.
Pull the kids out, go play football. Maybe other people follow you. It sort of disbands the whole argument, because I'm sure there's arguments about other things besides those few things we've mentioned, or a situation. If it's somebody that you're just really struggling to be around, you don't have to. It doesn't have to create a blow up and a fight, but just go to somebody else and go, hey, I'm gonna go over here and see so and so. I hadn't talked to him in a while, or hey, we're going to walk outside and throw the football around, or we're going to do something else, but kind of, a shift of your focus and your attention. Redirecting is what we call it when working with kids. We're going to redirect people. You could do that with a discussion. You could do that with the person who's trying to pick a fight, whatever it may be. But you can certainly redirect yourself.
Focus is a powerful thing. Being focused on that ball coming in. We did that a lot, or whatever it is. Maybe video games. I don't know. Got my kids turned on to Mario Kart, and my brother, he's a big Mario guy, and so they think Uncle Kevin is the best because he has Mario Kart, and we just enjoyed each other's presence and being together. So you can work through things and not really be focused on that thing. It's kind of an amazing thing our Lord has given us. And something that's practical and simple, start praying now. Start praying now for those engagements that you're coming up on, that you could be a peacemaker. But also, to Blake's point, how can I use this as an opportunity to be a peacemaker? How can I be proactive? And maybe there are those relationships that you being proactive is not to be active in them. And the safest thing is get some distance in between you. Acknowledge that, and your mental health is important enough to make those decisions. But where you can be engaged, we encourage you to do that and be a peacemaker.
Yeah, and it may be, it may not be a table full. It may be, myself and Blake, who might have some disagreement or something, think in terms of, I can't, how many does it take to have an argument? It takes two of us. So if Blake starts arguing, and I don't have to engage, or if I start arguing, Blake doesn't have to stay engaged with that. And the louder you get, the more you get frustrated, the more you start, talking louder and screaming at each other or whatever that may be. I'm sure we've had those events that have happened at family time. The less likely you are to think clearly. The more emotional you get, the less intellectual you are. Watch a football game and you will see it. 15-yard penalties abound on the sidelines because somebody got mad. And a lot of times it's probably because somebody talked about their mama in at the line or whatever. But they get upset and they get, and they're not thinking. And we do the same thing. So if you can sort of disengage, go back to what Travis said, hey, these people probably do have my best interest at heart, but they don't like my view on whatever, or they don't like what I've done. I understand. And I've had a lot of people who've come up to me here at church and in other places and say, hey, I don't like this, or this is happening, or it's kind of been sort of come at me attack-like. And I just have to sometimes go, man, I hear you. I'm sorry that you feel that way.
I would agree.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry that hurt you. We're going to see what we can do about that. Let's see how we can manage that in the future. Instead of what we want to do is respond and go, well, I was doing this and da-da-da-da. Just, hey, I get it. I hear you. And when people are heard, a lot of times that's all they need to know is that you heard them. So maybe when that thing gets engaged, you go, man, I hear your point of view. This might not be the best place for it, but, I get it. Now, let's talk about some other things.
Keep in mind the body language, right?
Mm-hmm.
What maybe a smile. Now, to my brother, that probably wouldn't work because he's like, he's concocting some scheme or something, But some people that would work. Most people would smile, and so body language, keep that in mind. This deal probably not going to work out, but body language is important.
Open body language. As we always ask, and you may or may not do, leave some stuff in the comments. If you've got some tips or you've got some thoughts that other people might be blessed by, leave some in there. And if it's an argument, we'll delete it. But no, I'm just kidding. But we would love for you to comment. Let us know some things that might be helpful to you that we could share with others.
Throw in a Christmas movie that you either enjoy or you just hate to see coming. If you want to go negative, we're here for that party. So as we throw that out there, I will throw in mine tradition. At some point in the evening, Christmas Eve, and this sounds terrible, but my kids are asleep. Whitney's usually in the living room, but it's just quiet. Just have that chance, maybe a little hot chocolate. You're just sitting in there, the Christmas lights are on, it's finally quiet, it's the quiet before the storm, and you just think about, I think about this little baby, that came into the world, and, it says the weight of the world on this little baby's shoulders, and it was, the plan worked.
Yep.
The plan worked, and there was a lot of chaos there, maybe going back to what we discussed about, there were a lot of chaos, a lot of relationship issues there, and the Lord chose to come here and to love us and give us the benefit of the doubt and redeem us and do all those things that we just said and do it perfectly so that we have an example. But there was time to take it all in.
Well, my Christmas tradition pales in comparison to yours. You came off the top rope on me there. Travis's is the most important Christmas tradition. Let me go ahead and preface what I'm going to say with that.
I don't have anything to be to do.
So this will be my wife and I's first Christmas together as a married couple, and she has started every year. She is going to buy me a sports Christmas ornament, and so
what'd she lead off with this year?
Hey, that's a good reference. She led off with Ronald Acuna Jr. of the Atlanta Braves, probably my favorite baseball player currently.
That's awesome.
And we've got that hanging on the tree. That was something that was really special to me. So we're starting a sports ornament every year now. So
That's awesome. Love it. That's good. I struggle with this one because there's a lot of different things that we do, and I don't know that there's just like a huge tradition that, like we used to. It was going to my mom and dad's on Christmas Eve, and it was my mom's side of the family, and it was always this huge thing. My Aunt Grace would drive up and pop the hood of the car, and there was like thousands of presents in the back. She'd bring like stuff for everybody, and it was amazing. It was one of those. I always looked forward to it. And then as we got older, as all the grandkids and everybody got older, we couldn't do it on Christmas Eve as much anymore. And so that's probably my favorite like past Christmas tradition. You know, that of days gone by that I miss and I really loved. We still get together. We haven't actually the last 2 years. We haven't been able to, but you know, that was probably my favorite one. My other favorite tradition, I guess we have as a family, is there's just several movies we watch together as a family. So we kind of always try to fit in like the Santa Claus movies. We were talking about the 1, 2, and 3, and we watch those in order. We've already watched the Home Alone movies, and most, at least the first 2 of those. We don't always get into all the other ones, although there's a new one like Sweet Home Alone or something like that, Home Sweet Home Alone, and it's different, but anyway, we do those. So we do those. I guess that's my favorite.
I do have 2 questions that I would love for people to answer in the comments.
Okay.
Respond, let us know how you feel about this. Number 1 is, which one's bigger, Christmas Eve? You mentioned getting gifts on Christmas Eve or Christmas morning, so I'm not sure how you guys do that. Christmas morning has always been for us when we open the most gifts. Now, we have little kids now, so it gets spread out wherever we go. Yeah. But the big Christmas is Christmas morning. And you mentioned Christmas Eve, so what do you guys do with your crew?
Well, it's all of our... Anytime our family starts opening presents, there's a lot of paper. We're kind of doing a thing this year where we're doing a trip rather than, we're not on Christmas, but it's later in the year, is going to be kind of what their Christmas gift is, just an experience rather than a bunch of extra stuff that we don't need. But we probably have our biggest Christmas morning. We open them at the house, and then we go to Kenya's parents' house and do with all of her extended. So probably now that's the biggest, Christmas morning up until lunchtime.
All right, Blake, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day.
So
2 weeks.
Growing up, we never got to open a gift early. Yeah. Never. Like all these other kids at school, oh yeah, I get to open one.
It's the 12 days of Christmas.
One early on Christmas Eve. No, my mom was hardcore. We're not doing any of that. So Christmas morning, getting up, spending time together, eating a good breakfast with some chocolate gravy biscuits.
That was my next question. That was a great question.
Well,
great lead in, but I'll let you finish.
I'll go ahead and just spoil your question. So the plan is for us to do a good breakfast with some chocolate gravy, but steaks.
Oh wow!
For Christmas dinner at the in-laws' house. Nice. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Have you done Will's steak yet?
I have not got Will's steak yet.
That's a whole nother story.
Yeah, that's. Yeah.
But as Blake mentioned, chocolate gravy. Yay?
Yes.
Nay?
Absolutely.
I know some people are absolutely not.
Yes.
It's the only time I get chocolate gravy on Christmas Day.
It's not even a question.
Same here.
Maywood. We get it at Maywood
We
sometimes.
do. Yeah, that's right. Chocolate gravy.
Always
a must.
Chocolate gravy.
It may not even be Christmas. Like Santa Claus has not come down the chimney if there ain't no chocolate gravy.
Agreed.
We send him back. But what do you guys feel like? What do you Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, 12 days of Christmas? Your 12 days of Christmas people, probably the same folks that get a bunch of nice stuff for Easter. What is that all about? Blake, thank you for joining us, man. I love you. Appreciate you being. You guys take care and Merry Christmas.
And a Happy New Year.
You filthy animals.
Ready to thrive in your ministry work? Pursuing a degree in biblical studies at the undergraduate or graduate level is now more convenient than ever. The deadline to apply for spring semester classes at Heritage Christian University is January 10th. To apply or see all the classes available, visit www.hcu.edu. Nearly all of these classes were created to be taken remotely, so no matter your schedule or location, you can be a part of learning more about the Bible in the new year. Apply today.
Thanks for being with us for this episode of the Helping Healing Humor podcast. Be sure to download our free ebook, 28 Days of Focused Living, at benandtravis.com and receive all of our Helping Healing and Humor extra content directly in your inbox. We look forward to having you join us at the same Ben and Travis time, same Ben and Travis channel.